And so if you are doing something and you want to flip houses on the side and you just kind of want to get into it and you like this excitement and this idea of making 50 grand, you're doing it for the wrong reason. Welcome to the Ryan Rice Show, where we talk about what we learned yesterday that we can apply today so that we can be better tomorrow. I hope you enjoy and subscribe. I see so many people come into the world of flipping houses, and then they get in and they realize that it's not something super, super easy, and then they give up and they stop. So I want to talk for a minute about why I don't think you should flip houses, at least as an avatar of, I'm just going to make some extra money on the side and see what it might turn into. And I just want to make some extra income. And here's why I think that is a bad idea. If you're doing something right now that is your primary source of income and you want to do something on the side, I firmly believe that the thing that you do on the side should be something that you're willing to, if it turns into a business, do full time. And I see so many people that flip houses on the side and they don't ever have any intention of running a real estate business or running a real estate flipping business. They just do it to try to make some extra income because they have heard of their friend Johnny who flipped a house and he made $50,000, and they're like, well, I want to do that. And that's just not how it works. And so I just want to touch on that for a minute, and I wanted to make this, and if you hear me a little bit more passionate than you usually do, it's because I have very strong feelings about this, and I see so many people make this mistake, and it's such a high percentage of people that come in with this idea that they're going to be able to make 50 to 60 grand on a flip, and then they realize that it's difficult, and then they give up and they waste a bunch of their time and their money. So if you don't want to flip houses full time as a business, if you don't want to run a real estate business, and that's not something that you see yourself doing, then I don't think that you should try to flip houses on the side. And the reason is because our most valuable asset is not our time. Our most valuable asset is our attention. And the more things that you have your attention spread across, the less you're going to be able to focus on what really matters. And so if you're doing something right now and you're not happy with what you're doing and you want to do something else, then don't do the other thing that you go choose to do it because you see Johnny made 50K on a flip and you think that that's cool. And so that's what you're going to go do. If you want to do something else, then figure out what it is that you want to do and go build a business on the side. And then once that business more than replaces your current income, then you can leave if that's what you want to do. But if you don't have an intention of eventually leaving, then just focus on your current role as an employee. There's nothing wrong with being an employee. I think some people, don't like the idea of being an employee. And so, for whatever reason, they think that that's bad. There is nothing wrong with being a really good employee. And in fact, if you work really hard at being a great employee, you can make a significant amount of income. And for some people, that's fine. And that's all that they want. If you really want to not be an employee and run a business, then don't come to real estate trying to flip houses, because it's just going to bring you some extra income in the meantime. Because what is actually going to happen is that your attention is going to be diverted. If you have no true intention of actually doing real estate and trying to learn the ins and outs of running a flipping business full time eventually, then you're not going to go all in to that business. And it's something that you're going to get excited about, and you're eventually just going to quit because you're going to realize it's harder than you thought. And it's not as simple as, Johnny said he made 50K flipping a house. And I'm so passionate about this just because I think so many people get this idea, and a lot of these issues are derived from the fact that it's so much easier for information to spread or for someone to market information. And so someone can see on Instagram that so-and-so flipped a house and, they made so much money, or because that they're on Instagram and they're posting pictures and videos of their flipped house, they must be making a bunch of money, which those two things probably aren't even true. Like, I know so many flippers who do it full time And they lost a shit ton of money over the past couple of years because the market reversed after COVID. And those are people doing it full time. So I think it's much less likely that a newbie, someone that hasn't done it before, is going to be able to get into the industry and make some sort of sustainable income over a sustainable period of time. And so this is such a common, I've talked about this on a previous podcast before, but it's such a common, I guess I'll say, phase of you have this uninformed optimism where somebody doesn't know much about the thing, but they see somebody else that has had success and they're like, oh, that seems cool. And then they try to go do it. And then they have informed pessimism because they realize that it's actually difficult. And then they keep trying to put in a little bit of effort. And then they get into what's called the valley of despair, which is at the person at the lowest point because they have the most amount of information, but they have the least amount of experience, and they don't have enough experience to actually turn it into anything sustainable. And so you hit what I would call rock bottom because you still have to learn the thing, and then you have to do a lot more of the thing to actually make money. But then what's really cool about that graph, if you've seen it, is once you go through the valley of despair and you just keep doing it over and over and over, then you get informed optimism. And so you learn enough, and you've done now so many repetitions that you actually start to get good at the thing, which means you can make money from it. And then after that, you can go into a success and a fulfillment stage. But that process as an entrepreneur, that might take a decade. That might take 10 years. And so if you are doing something and you want to flip houses on the side and you just kind of want to get into it and you like this excitement and this idea of making 50 grand, you're doing it for the wrong reason. So if there's something that you want to do on the side, make sure that it's something that you're willing to do for a decade. Because regardless of what it is that you go do, nothing is ever going to be like you think it will. You're always going to have uninformed optimism if this thing that you're looking at doing is new. You don't know that much about it. And everything that everyone talks about on Instagram is going to be all of the positive things. And you're likely seeing stuff on Instagram from stuff like education companies, which the way that they make their money is they make it seem exciting and they get you in. And then you go in it and you realize that it's a lot harder than you thought. And maybe you didn't even want to do that full time, for a living in the first place. And then, so you get into it and then you're like, well, this is a lot harder than I thought and it sucks. And so you give up and then you're right back where you started. Real quick, as you guys know, I just recently started this podcast. If you could give it a rating with a quick tap of the thumb, that would mean the world to me. And even more importantly, it could help spread the word to a broader audience, which in turn could help change a life. Thank you so much, and let's get back to the show. So, and don't get me wrong, I love real estate. I really enjoy the real estate business. This is what I am choosing to do. And when I chose to do it full time, I knew that I was going to commit to for longevity, to really be in this, and I want to do it for a very long period of time. But if flipping houses is going to be something that you think that you want to do just on the side because you're going to have the ability to make an extra 50K, I can just save you the trouble. Just don't do it. I can't express enough how you shouldn't get into something just because it seems exciting and you think you might make an extra little bit of money. Your attention is your most valuable asset, which I know I said already, but I want to emphasize it because if you want to do something different, then go put all of your attention that is remaining, or go jump to the thing, whichever one that you choose. You need to put all of your attention into the thing that you want to do. And you have to know that you're probably going to suck at it at first, which means you may not, quote, enjoy it as much as you would like, and you're not going to get the result that you want for a long period of time, maybe 2 years, maybe 3 years, maybe 4 years. You're not going to get this, fictitious result of making $50,000 on every single flip. But that is not the point. You're not doing it for the outcome. You're not doing it for this result that you're after. You know why you are doing it? Because of the person that you become in the process. And so if you can choose to do something for a long period of time and you're simply happy with the outcome of you becoming a different person or becoming the person that you need to become in order to do X, whatever X is for you, that is what is the most rewarding thing. So I just can't stress enough, whether you call it the woman in the red dress, which is an analogy from the Matrix, right? Neo's walking down with Morpheus. He sees a woman in the red dress walk by. He turns his head to look at her. He turns back, and the agent's there with a gun to his head. And that's what all these extra shiny little objects, these things on the side, that's what they all are. And so I really urge you, and I think it's so important that if you're going to choose to put your attention to something, have it be something that you are fine doing for an extended period of time without any sort of result or any sort of outcome, because that's the reality of how running a business and being an entrepreneur works. And if you can do it for an extended period of time without an outcome or without a result, guess what you're going to get in the long run? You're going to get a result, because the only way that you get the result is you become the person that you need to be in order to get X result. And that process is what is the most enjoyable process out of all of it. So I just wanted to come on and make that real quick. I hope that resonates with somebody. Just don't look at my Instagram or go look at somebody else's Instagram and decide that you want to go flip houses on the side. Now, whatever it is that you do want to do, pick the thing and then go do that on the side with the goal of doing that full-time, running a business, and that is what you're doing, and that is where you're putting all of your attention. If you're doing something else and you want to divert a little bit of attention to flip a house because you think it's going to make you an extra $50K, just save the trouble. I am trying to save you the time of going through the pain that you will go through, because you will learn that it is a lot harder than what people make it look like on Instagram. So if you guys got some value out of that, or if you know somebody that can hear that message and this message might be helpful or resonate with them, then please share it. But do yourself a favor, divert all your attention to one thing. And if you're an employee and you want that one thing to be a business, then divert your attention to that business with the intent to run that business in the long run. But thank you guys for listening. Sorry if this was a little bit more, if I had more excitement in this one than I have in others, but I keep seeing it and I wanted to make it, and it's coming from a feeling, it's coming from inside, and so I just wanted to go ahead and put it out there. But I appreciate you guys, love you guys, and until the next one, I'll see you. Peace.